Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Chris Terry here, creator of Personica AI and founder of Swamp Rabbit Labs. Today we're going to be going over how to build Personica profiles within Unreal Engine, how to set up those profiles using the gameplay tag system, and how to get an LLM to read and write from that profile using the context interface. This is going to assume that you already have an Unreal project with Personica installed. If you don't, go ahead and check out some of the earlier videos on this channel to get yourself started. Otherwise, check out our support center on our website, which will be linked in the description below. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into Unreal. Alright, so we're here in our Unreal Engine project. Now again, this is just the standard first-person template project, but you would follow the same steps in any kind of project that you're standing up. Notice we still have our test character that we created in our first episode of this video tutorial series. We don't really have any information assigned to that brain yet, but we'll add that in the profile. So to create a profile, first off, we'll go ahead and create a Personica specific folder here in our game folder that we're working out of, just to keep things organized. And then I'll also create a profiles folder. And then when I want to add a profile, I'll add a data asset, and then I'll search for the Personica profile data asset. Now, as you can see, part of the benefit of purchasing Personica is getting access to all of these different data assets. It really serves as a RAG framework for your game, and it makes sending game-specific data to and from your LLM so much easier using these data assets. So that's one advantage of using the Personica system. Otherwise, you would have to basically set up this system yourself and modify the system anytime you need to make little tweaks. But we'll go ahead and create our profile here by just selecting the profile, and we'll follow good naming conventions and just call this pp_test profile. PP for Personica profile. You can use whatever prefix you would like. That could just be P for profile as well. But opening the profile itself, so we see a lot of different options here. Now, some of these we're going to go over in their own specific episodes. So, specifically relationships and memory and fallback behavior, we are going to cover in some later episodes. This episode is just to get our basic profile construction up and running here. So there are some pre-built in fields to the profile here, like the name, the background, the role, and the speech style. And each of these fields has native Personica support. So what that means is if I want to reference these fields in a blueprint, I can do so directly. But let's say I have some game-specific elements that are not covered in name, background, role, or speech style, and I want to make sure that it's captured in the profile. So how do I do that? Well, we have several different options in our internal section, and it really depends on the type of variable you're adding to the profile. So if you want to add status tags, that's going to be kind of a Boolean true or false flag. Think of sort of one-off character tags that happen because of an event, right? So like maybe the character is sick, so they might have a status tag that says sick or wounded or perhaps even dead. We also have numeric stats, which operates off of a float number and a string metadata as well. So let's start off by adding a test numeric stats tag. And as I add that element, we see an option to select a gameplay tag. So the profile tags in Personica use the gameplay tag system. If I want to add more gameplay tags or modify my gameplay tag structure, I can easily get to that menu simply by clicking on the space in the profile where I select the gameplay tag to add, and then clicking manage gameplay tags. I'm actually going to go ahead and do that because I haven't set up this gameplay tag specifically. So here we have the gameplay tag manager, and I want to add a new tag, and we're just going to call this character.honor, and we'll select the default source there. So if I click enter or click add new tag, that creates this new honor tag. Because I prefixed it with character, it also creates this sort of gameplay tag group for the character. So I could also add, for instance, character.title as its own gameplay tag. And this is a unique reference. If I use character.title, it specifically references the title. If I use character.honor, it specifically references the honor. But this is useful for maintaining an organized hierarchy for your gameplay tags. So it's a lot cleaner. It's very simple to manage and to keep organized and to see the exact structure of your gameplay tag system as it gets built out. Now you will have a good number of gameplay tags as you're continually using Personica. So I highly recommend being proactive with thinking about the structure of your gameplay tags and how exactly you want to prefix them, right? So in this case, I want to use honor. So I'll go ahead and close the manager, and if I go back to that field where I can add my gameplay tag, we can see that now we have our character section, and I can now select the specific honor and title tag. So we'll choose honor in this case, and that's added to the profile field, and we'll say in this case it's let's say it's 40 out of 100, right? So I'll go ahead and save our changes there, and now this character honor stat is added to this profile. Now what's important to keep in mind is we still need to add this profile to the specific brains that we're going to use it on, right? So you can have one profile assigned to multiple specific brains. So if you want NPCs to kind of behave in a similar way, you can use these one single profile to reference. So we'll go ahead and close this profile setup data asset, and we're going to go back to our test character. And then if we click on the Personica brain component that we added here in part 1, we can find under the identity grouping a space to add our profile template. Now base priority basically allows you to designate certain characters or certain Personica brains as having a higher priority for LLM processing. So they can, for instance, interrupt other characters. So that might be useful if you have some background NPCs that are maybe using Personica for simple bark lines, but then you also have a sort of main character or an important character that the player can interact with, and when the player does interact with them, you want the NPC background interaction to stop and that character to be prioritized. You can set that by using this base priority level and setting that prioritized character's priority to be a greater number than the lower priorities character. So we'll go ahead and compile and save our test character here, and now we have a functioning Personica brain with a functioning profile assigned with our game-specific gameplay tags added. Now, how do we actually reference that tag and change that tag? So one advantage of using Personica AI is that you have really an automated system for reading and writing to those gameplay tags, or as we call them as context tags. So it's really simple to reference that game-specific information in an LLM prompt, and if you want to, and only specifically if you allow it, the LLM can actually write to specific tags and update them, or you can include your own logic to update those tags yourself using sort of traditional hand-coded logic. So if we want to make those changes to the gameplay tag, the construction is super simple. I'm here in my character's event graph. Really, you just need a reference to the character in some way to reference their Personica brain component. So I'll drag the brain component onto our event graph, and then dragging off of that, first off, to read the value of a certain gameplay tag, I can use the get context for tag option here. Now this little envelope here, at least in my version of Unreal 5.7, means that basically serves as a warning that this node will not work unless you have this specific Personica context interface installed. Now that's automatically installed on the profile, so you don't need to go in and implement that yourself. You don't really need to worry about the envelope in this situation. There will be some options to add this context interface to other actors or to actors that are not using a Personica profile. If you choose to do so, we'll have some of that information in a later video. But for now, we just have our simple brain, and we're just using the get context for tag tool to actually reference the gameplay tags that we've built on the profile. So in this case, I want to reference the honor tag. So all I have to do is type in the actual gameplay tag itself. And you can type that in directly if it's always going to be the same tag, or you can use whatever logic you need to get the tag to reference instead. So that's if I want to actually read the value. If I want to write to it instead, or make updates to it, I instead use the set context for tag node. And this node also has the envelope. Again, not a concern in our case because the profile automatically implements the context interface. But same deal here with the tag field. I can type in, for instance, honor, and we need to make sure that that is case exact. And then type in whatever value that we want to update it to. So maybe it goes from 40 to 50, right? Or realistically, you probably plug this into whatever logic, whatever gameplay logic you have that will update the character's honor, for instance. So this is a very, very easy, straightforward, but really powerful way to simply reference gameplay elements within your LLM prompts and have the LLM actually write to and update those elements, but only the ones that you allow it to do so. So it's not something where it's maybe like some of the agent-based tools that you've seen where you kind of just let it loose and it does whatever. Here, there's still that element of control and determinism that you have, where you can say, hey, I want Personica to be able to change these things, but these other values need to be sort of separated and kept the same, and only changed through traditional hard-coded logic. So that was our overview of the basic profile construction in Personica and how the context tag system works. Now some of the more complex profile subsystems like memory will be covering in separate videos down the road, so please consider subscribing and hitting the notifications icon to receive updates when those videos do come online. If you found this episode to be helpful in getting started with Personica, please leave a like. If you have any questions, please leave a comment or reach out to us at contact@swamprabbitlabs.com. I've been Chris Terry. Thank you so much for joining me today.